Hi everyone, this is Alma coming to you from Huntington Beach, California. Today is Wednesday, December 20th of the year 2023, and this is FlossTube number 108, I believe. It has been a minute. I am back and I'm very happy to be back. Um, I do want to say thank you to everybody that checked in on me over the course of the last, 3 or 4 months. I did receive a few messages via Instagram. So I want to say thank you to everybody. It's been it's been quite a few months, but I am on winter break until, well, about a month from now. So I'm going to, take advantage of the time that I have, hopefully, and yeah, just recuperate and get ready for the next semester. So welcome everybody, welcome back to all my current viewers and subscribers, and thank you for your continuing support, for being patient with me. And if this is your first time visiting, then welcome. I hope that you like what you see today, you find a reason to stay, subscribe, and continue to follow me on my stitching journey. Um, so the last few months I have been mostly monogamous. Just just because of the nature of like the very limited free time that I had. I usually would set goals for myself like, okay, I'll do 200 stitches on this. And those 200 stitches would take me 4 to 5 days. So, I kind of just embraced it and just said, okay, I'll just stitch one piece at a time. Um, so I don't have too many whips to show you, despite the long the long break. But I do have quite a bit of progress in the few whips that I have. So without further ado, let's get to the stitching. And this is in no particular order. Uh, yeah, I do have all the whips, I just don't have them in the order that I stitched them. So first up is one of my main focuses this year. This is The Eternal Promise. Artwork is by Matt Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. You've seen it, you love it. For this one, I just, and this is what I did for all of them. I just picked the most used color and I just went crazy with it. Because again, um, I wanted to make sure that I used my time efficiently. So I was like, okay, I'd rather not have to like keep changing colors. Because for this one I was trying to go page by page, but I just decided, you know what, for the sake of stitching more, using up the time that I had, I'll just, pick one color and run with it until I finish it. But for this one, the main goal for this year, or at least this stitching session, is I wanted to reach 15%, which I did, and then I moved on to something else, and then I came back to it. So I'm 15.25% now. But this is what I have so far, and this is going to be an interesting thing. So I'll just try to show everything in frame. Yeah, this doesn't bode well for me and my whip rate, because I am gonna be doing the whip rate next. But this is the section that I'm currently working on. I think I still have some. This is 844. It's like a dark gray. I think I still have some of it left over here in this corner somewhere. But for the most part, I am focusing on, uh, you know, um, bridging the gap between this section and this section, because I stopped here the last time. When I reached that 15%, I was like, okay, I'm done. Let's go. And then I picked it back up a couple days ago, actually, and just kept going. So yeah, I think next time I may pick like a purple just for the sake of stitching on something other than gray and greens. Um, but yeah, I think from this point forward, I may just go 1%. So I stitched on a few other pieces and then I came back to this. So I want to stitch 1%, reach 16%, and then go back to something else, and on and on. But this will still be a focus for next year. I want to get at least 2,000 stitches done every month, um, which we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Um, so yes, so this is the Eternal Promise, and then the rest of the whips I'm gonna have to show you on my phone because that's always fun. Um, the the majority of these will be like that, so it's just one color that I just focused on for the most part, and then everything else is just kind of left. I'll leave for later, although I may take the opportunity this month to work on um what another thing I did is, so I have a spreadsheet of my whips, so I sorted them from least amount done, so, or just percentage, I guess. So I looked at the ones that had barely any progress whatsoever, and I worked on those first. So another piece that I worked on is my Jeremiah Kettner piece. Let's see, sometimes if I cover my face, it works better because it doesn't have anything else to focus on. I guess it's not working this time anyway. There we are. Let's Go for a Swim by Jeremiah Kettner, also one of my hates. For this one I went with the purple because that's the color that it is one of the most used colors, but I also wanted to make sure that I wasn't jumping around too much. So that was one of the colors that I started on the corner, and this is what I have so far. So I think I can fold it still. Yep. For this one, again, I think I reached a specific point or stitch count. Let me see. Let's go for a swim. Yeah, I passed 10,000 stitches on this, and I decided to call it a day. Because as pretty as it looks, I did get tired of the hair. I was like, okay, I'm done. And again, the rest of the purple was going to be kind of spread out a little bit, so I was like, okay, I don't feel like counting or jumping around too much. So yeah, this is at 8% now, a little over 8%. So next time I grab her, I'll go ahead and finish up that color. It's 154. It's that dark purple. I really like that color. I didn't mind stitching on that. But next one next one I'm gonna show you, I didn't necessarily stitch in that order. Is another one of my hates. Again, this was just make progress. This year was just more about making progress on all my full coverages. I didn't necessarily focus too much on finishing. But I stitched on Mini Sun and Stars by Katerina Koukiotis, the very handsome Jason Momoa as Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones. For this one, I showed it to my friends from school, from college, and they were very excited. But then they were very disappointed because I was only working on the background. Because again, I started on the lower left, so I was like, okay, I don't want to jump around too much. And for this one, I did get inspired, and I was like, I'll just finish the background. I'll go ahead and just finish the background. I didn't technically do it. I still have like a little bit of background to go on the opposite corner of the piece, but again, I didn't feel like jumping around. So, but yeah, that's the entire height, I guess, of the piece, length of the piece, if you want to call it. And yeah, the when I picked it, just so you have a sense, when I first picked this up, like I just had this much done, like this much done. which is nothing. So yeah, major improvement. Very happy. And hopefully next time I can actually start on Khal Drogo. Because yeah, it was also kind of boring. One piece that wasn't boring though, was very entertaining to stitch on, is my unconventional cross stitch chart that I will pull up in just a second. Where is it? This is supposedly in order, but apparently it's not as order. There we go. There we go. This is my Medusa, again by unconventional cross stitch. I think uh, the artist is David Lowell or something like that. Um, she was my New Year New Start last year, 2022, and she's still being displayed because I love looking at her so much. Because this is what I have so far. Um, Again, for reference, the last time I stitched on her, I just had this corner done with all the beiges and the grays. So again, I picked the most used color, which, surprise, surprise, was black. And I said, okay, I'll go ahead and just do that. And so I did a little bit more of the beige just so I could move my way up a little bit more so I didn't have to jump as far. But then I got to the hand, and then that just led to the rest. I did ask some of my stitching friends and my college friends. I was like, okay, where should I go? Because I was here. Oh, it's backwards, Alma. I was in this section, so this was a good kind of like crossroads point where I could either go down and work on her dress, or go up and work on her hair. So majority voted to work on her hair. So yeah, it's super cool. I love how she's taking shape already. Um, and so next time I pick her up, I'll go ahead and finish the black in her dress, and then move on to another color. Um, but yeah, next one I want to show you is a piece that I was really hoping to finish this year, but I don't think I'm gonna to get to it. Oh my gosh, not the dogs again. There's not one thing I did. So this is my second attempt at recording. The first time I recorded this, there was no audio, and I didn't realize it. That just shows how like rusty I am on doing this. Because I usually do have like a testing 1 2 3. And this time I just jumped right in. But there were also like the gardeners were working around the apartment complex, so there was like leaf blowers, just surround sound. So I kind of waited a little bit until they left or they stopped, and they picked it back up towards the end of my recording. Um, but yeah, now I guess I just get the dogs barking, which hopefully won't be too much of an issue. Anyway, um, this is my Amsterdam piece by Zlata Krostic. I got it from Etsy, but it's no longer available. It's a set of 4 patterns of different cities around the world. There's Amsterdam, there is London, Lisbon, and Paris. So hopefully I can um, get a good chunk of that done, or all 3 of them. But this is what I have so far on this one. I'm at 56% with it, and she is mostly done. Um, I had to go get a color, and I remembered to get the color for the bricks, which is DMC 23, but I forgot to get the missing color for the bike. So at this point, I may just pick a similar color and just run with it because I don't want to have to make a second trip. But yeah, the sky is mostly house stitched, so And I do have the same color 23 to go on that one, so hopefully that'll give me some decent progress on it. And yeah, so hopefully that'll be a finish sooner rather than later. But actually, I'll just show one piece that I did get to finish this time round is Home is where the NES is from Choco Coco Stitch on Etsy. Um, I started it in April and it is finished. So I stitched this for my boyfriend, and it's not necessarily a surprise. He saw me stitching on it. It's uh, kind of hard to keep things from him as far as stitching goes. But for this one, I did go off of the call for colors, but I just used it as a D-stash piece because each I just kind of considered each character its own motif, and yeah, just used colors that were similar um, to what the designer called for. The only one that got a bit of a redesign is this one. It's Vivi from the Final Fantasy series. The pattern had the hat be entirely brown, and if you're familiar with the Final Fantasy characters, it's not. It's not. It's yellow with like a red ribbon. So I changed it up a bit so it matched the original characters, but everything else is pretty much what the what the what the pattern called for. Um, so yeah, so obviously I still need to iron it before I frame it, but um, but I'm happy. This probably will be my last finish of the year, all things considered. We only have 11 more days to the end of the year. I don't, and I'm still working on the Eternal Promise, so I don't think I'll be able to finish anything else. But Amsterdam is probably the first one to be finished. Next, at least. So those are all my pieces. Yeah, I showed you Medusa. I showed you the finished Nintendo piece. For next year, I'm trying to go easy on my goals. Because again, school just takes over and then everything goes out the window anyway. So I've made some guidelines of the pieces that I'd like to focus on this year, but I'm being gentle with myself. So one piece that I did kind of fall off the wagon with is my Mirabilia, my portrait of Veronica. I originally did intend to finish her this year, but I started her skin, and even though the pattern didn't call for it, I did want to make it one over one because I do like the look of it, but I don't like stitching it apparently because yeah, it was just slow going and I wasn't enjoying it. So I just kind of, again, going back to trying to be gentle with myself, I just decided, you know what, just it's fine, you know. I'll just let go of this goal that I had, even though I'm so close. Because literally, let me see, do I have her? I do. So she's literally like almost done. Look, look, she's practically done. I really just have the skin. Just do her arms, her shoulders, whatever. Um, and yeah, and her head and her hair. It's almost there. She's almost there. Obviously, I still have to do the beading and the details, but otherwise, yeah, she's practically done. Um, I will work on her in January though, because Sammy did call the categories for January, which if you've been with me, you know that she usually that's that was what me and my friends decided was a good way for us to get a little bit of fun and motivation on our pieces. So she calls five categories categories each month, and then we just stitch on them. We do have the option of just not or switching out a project if we want to. Um, so one of the categories for January is a piece that has specialty stitches or beads. So so I will work on her, um, especially considering that uh, I do have the time, like, to dedicate more than 1 hour to it. So I think I will go ahead and finish her. Not finish her, but work on her. Um, but yeah, other than that, Moon Charmer is still going to be a major player in this coming year, and Eternal Promise as well. So yeah, um, yeah, I think that's all I had to talk about this time around. Um, and I have some plans, but not too many plans because I know that I can't plan anymore, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, next time I'll go ahead and film the end of year whip parade. So you'll get a better sense of how much I've stitched these last few months during that video, because I will draw up like all the numbers and do all the maths and the statistics for the whip parade. As far as plans for 2024 go, I don't have too many other than the ones that I talked about. I am doing a few events on the full coverage fanatics. Oh, so continuing on the piece for Portrait of Veronica, um, I was trying to do one section at a time with her. Again, if you've been following me, if you've been watching videos, then you know. I was trying to do one section at a time each month for finish. I'm still going to try to do that with another piece this year. The piece that I picked for 2024 is my Sleeping Beauty. For her, and again, I'm trying to go easy on myself. For her, I have to do 500 stitches. 500 stitches each month to get her finished, which should be easy. I feel like that's not that bad. um, and then for full coverage fanatics, I'm doing the Bind Numbers event. So I'll be using Eternal Promise to get the 2,000 stitches that I would like to do each month. Um, and then this year they're doing a Stitch the Seasons event. I don't think it's counting, because usually they have a counting event and a non-counting event for the people that don't care about counting stitches or don't want to. So for that one, I am breaking out my change of seasons and giving it another go and stitching my change of seasons chart, which is the tree that's split up into the 4 different seasons. So I'm trying to get 500 stitches on that again each month. So hopefully I can do it. But that's it. That's it as far as plans go. Um, Hopefully I'll be able to stick to them. Because yeah, I feel like 500 stitches is not too much. But we'll see. We'll see what this semester has in store. This particular semester was just absolutely brutal. Oh my god. I'm so glad it's over. I had one professor for 2 classes that was just awful. Awful. And it wasn't just me. It was just like in general. Like it was one of those classes where we had to teach. I had to rely on working with my classmates to help each other out. Like, because it was a math class. So, and he didn't do such a good job at teaching it. So we had to rely on like doing the study groups and just helping each other out because we were not, and the class was only an hour long, um as opposed to most lectures that are like an hour and a half, sometimes 3 hours depending on how many times you meet a week, and this one was only 1 hour. So yeah, like by the time he got into showing examples, and that was the other thing is he would just do like random examples, but with no explanation. Anyway, all this to say, it was difficult, and required a lot of time outside of class. So we'll see how next semester. I don't have to take that professor again. Apparently, those are the only two classes he teaches in the curriculum. So yeah, hopefully I don't have to see him again. And if I do, I'm taking the class with another professor. I'm not doing him again. I'm not taking a class with him again. Um, but yeah, okay, rant over. That aside, next time I see you will be for my whip parade. If you have any questions about any of the patterns that I showed today, feel free to leave a comment. Again, there's a few of them that are not available anymore, but I always leave the links in case you want to get any of them. Um, and yeah, hopefully I'll get that whip parade filmed within, before the end of the year. Um, but then, yeah, I'll try to do a couple more FlossTube updates before I go back to school. So yeah, thank you again for coming back and checking in on me. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to, even if it's just for a little bit. As always, I hope you guys have a productive week, a relaxing weekend, and you always find the time to do the thing that makes you happy. Until next time, ciao!